Is my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective. Is my perspective. Yeah, yo, am I wrong or is it just you? Or did my life show me some things that gave me my view? And if I went through what you went through, would I be you? I don't know. That's too many questions with no answer, but plenty chances for many lessons. Am I willing to learn that it's all perception? That the picture that I paint ain't the one that you sketching? So can we disagree without drawing a weapon? Long as I can understand that it's just your perspective. Yeah, it's my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective.
What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. What's up, crew? Y'all good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Friday.
I hope y'all at home doing good too. We appreciate you guys tuning in to My Perspective Friday edition. We got the crew with us today. Dav, Liv, Deshawn, and we got some newbies, some guests with us today. Naya and Michaela. What's up, y'all? Y'all all right?
Yes.
Welcome. Naya, this is our second time with us.
Yes, it feels good to be back.
Yeah. Welcome back. Michaela, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, especially today. Look, this topic today, y'all, is near and dear to my heart, being somebody that works in the mental health field. I want to talk tonight about just mental health in general, y'all. Anything that comes to mind, because anytime I talk about this, the goal for me personally is to hopefully help somebody, free them up, so that they'll get the help they need if they need it. You know what I mean? And so whatever comes to mind tonight, you guys just lay it all out there. All right, we good with that? Can I count on you guys to be free?
Always.
Definitely.
Well, I love y'all. So again, we want to talk about anything mental health tonight. And one of my first, just real general questions is, why do you guys feel that people don't seek the mental health assistance that they need? And I'll start with whoever wants to go first. Let's be courteous, right? Start with one of our guests. Michaela, start us off tonight.
I think why most people don't seek out mental health, like therapy or anything like that. I mostly see that in men due to the masculinity. And I actually read a book called The Male Brain, and when they're growing up, their brain development is actually towards winning competitions, and it's ingrained in their head. Like that's their DNA. And I feel like when they have mental health issues, they don't seek that help because it doesn't make them seem as masculine. And I don't think that they feel like they can come forth and be vulnerable.
It's tougher. It's tough. I mean, I've noticed that just in my work. I kind of laugh looking at my emails. Every reference I get, every referral I get, every time somebody reaches out to me personally, it's like, wow, female. Matter of fact, recently, the only males I've seen have been a part of a couple. I do couples as well. The only males I've seen have been the married males. So I can see it in terms of the numbers, and I appreciate that insight as to why you feel that it's that we don't come forth as much. I'm gonna move on, and I'm gonna talk a lot. Go ahead, Dan.
When you have couples walk in with you, do you feel like the males, like, they kind of like let go and then they participate because they're walking in with their like partner, or are they still kind of like holding back?
In the couple sessions, they do really well, and it almost catches me off guard because I know, again, that rarely do they come on their own. I've had so many men, not even so many, but the ones that have reached out to me personally, they've canceled. They never show up. It's been so interesting. But when they come with their wives, no problems whatsoever. That's been a really interesting dynamic. So I'm glad you asked that.
I personally feel like a lot of people don't, reach out or find the help that they need when it comes to mental health, simply because of the fear of being looked at by their peers or their family, like, oh, something's wrong with me. Like, I was in a 5-year relationship, and my ex-boyfriend, he had a mental situation. I was like, okay, let's try couples therapy. Couples therapy went well, but it came to a point where I was like, okay, well, maybe we need to focus on our individual selves. But he never moved on it, and I felt like it was just him personally being afraid of, like, okay, what are people going to think about me if I take the initiative to go seek help about my mental stability?
And I think that's a good point. I remember when I was taking classes, when I was actually in school for this stuff, one of the first things we had to do was go and get counseling ourselves. And I knew that I was doing it, even with the knowledge that I was doing it as an assignment. I had this feeling like, man, somebody see me walk in this office, man, they gonna think some things. And the funniest part was I was doing it on a college campus where it was really easy to be invisible. Like somebody see me walking in this office, you'll never know me again. You'll never notice me anywhere else on this campus, right? But it was still that mental block, like, man, somebody might think something is really wrong with me. I'm just here for school. I'm just here as an assignment. And I actually wanted to say that out loud. And it's so one of the goals of that assignment was to make sure you understood how it felt, quote unquote, being on the other side of the table. And that was one of the biggest things that I learned, that there is a legitimate fear or concern, whatever you want to call it, that you'll be looked at as something other than an individual that just needs some help, whether that be speaking about something we would deem as simple or some lifelong trauma. So yeah, I agree with that point as well. Liv, join in.
I think that some people don't seek out for mental like therapy and stuff is because a lot of people can't afford it.
Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, a lot of people can't afford it, so I think that might play into why they don't seek it.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I think also with mental health, it has to do with your support system. Like that could also be a form of help. It's just surrounding yourself with friends and family who love you and care about you. Because I know personally that makes a huge difference, is having people surrounding you and loving you and feeling that support from other people.
I see, you know.
Yeah, and I agree with her. I feel like your support system really matters. I know a person right now that that's dealing with some mental stuff, but it's kind of hard because they feel like they don't need help, but we know that they need help, and it's a battle when you're fighting with someone that don't want to receive the help, and you're like, well, you need it. I'm trying to save your life. I'm trying to save you from certain things you might end up gone from here at an early age. And so I feel that finding ways, trying to not beating them, like what I mean with your mouth or with your words, but really having patience with somebody that have mental problems. Because that's another thing, patience.
Yeah.
Having that time to be like, okay, now they're walking through this. Now, how can I keep myself at a certain place that I don't go off on them?
Yep.
And they want my help, but I'm about to spaz because they're getting on my nerves and they're not really receiving what I'm trying to give to them to save their life. So it really can be hard, man. It can be hard sometimes because I know a person now that I'm dealing with, and it's like sometimes you're like, okay, I just want to give up on them. Like I'm done, So I can relate to that.
Patience is definitely.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say patience is definitely a big part because they're the ones with the mental health issues, but like the person helping them also has to be like good mentally and like have that patience to be able to deal with them, because if not, then it's just gonna make things worse.
Two crazy people.
Yeah.
That's basically what I was gonna say too. Like even coming from someone that's, like I said, I still take therapy. Like I am very supportive of like making sure that you're well mentally, physically, and emotionally. Yeah. We all need someone to talk to. And I was that person in my last relationship where I just wanted to give and pour into that person and be like, okay, look, this is what you need to do. But my therapist was like, okay, hold on, take a step back, because you can't make somebody want the help that they need. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's up for them to see that. And if you're constantly pouring so much, support that you think that they can respond to, you're draining yourself out. So it's just like really learning your boundaries when it comes to dealing with someone that may need, mental support. You understanding where they are, I feel like is support enough, and mention it one time is support enough with that particular person. I feel
like with me going.
Oh,
sorry. Like with me going through school, people trying to help me with my mental state and having attendance problems and, all these things that I can't really help. Having the constant support about like, come to school, like you need to come to school. That actually does the complete opposite for me. Like it makes me want to stay home more and like curl up. Like I don't want to be nagged at about something that I know I need to do because it just makes me feel worse.
Mm.
Welcome back, y'all, to my Perspective Friday edition. We're talking about mental health, and right before we went to break, Michaela was speaking about not wanting to be, and she used the word nagged at, for things she knows she need help with, and it put in my mind something that I think quite frequently about how many of us don't even really know the what kind of help we need or what that we even need help. So one thing that I struggle with, or one thing that I preach a lot rather, is that we need to be a little proactive about our mental health. You know how we'll, financially speaking, we'll save and plan and budget and all of that. Physically speaking, we'll get in the gym, try to eat the right things. What do we do that's proactive for our mental health? And the reason I ask that is because sometimes we get so far into a place that we don't even realize that we need help, or we get so far into a place but we're still intellectual, and so we understand all I really need to do is go to school. I don't need you to tell me that. But because we're so smart, sometimes we forget to actually do the things we do. And so what do? We dive deeper and deeper and deeper into what we're in. So how do you guys feel about just I don't know, just doing these things that we need to do, and why people don't, or I don't know, just being proactive on it is I guess my bigger point. What do you guys feel about being proactive? Go ahead, Dad. I see you.
So I feel like a lot of things, like a lot of toxic people will definitely like mess with your mental health. And I think that um reasons that people won't like you won't cut them out of your life is either because you're just stubborn or because you've created an attachment, which is also an unhealthy thing and an unhealthy like mind state to have. So as far as like things that people do, I don't know, because to be honest, I'll be stubborn too. So I don't y'all give me some advice or something,
I
but
say
I don't.
stubborn is one thing, but I mean, when you don't even really know that you need help. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So I guess that's why I asked the question, or pose the idea about being proactive on these things. Like just go see somebody, just talk to somebody in that manner, just to see or to make sure that
Yeah.
things are good. Deshaun, I see you, brother.
I know for me, and this is might be good for you, Daphne. I know when I have like my moment, I'm just gonna say when I have a moment when I'm going through like a mental battle, with something that maybe is not working out in my life, I go and find like my father or like a best friend that I would say, tell my truth, because you have to know too, can you trust them to tell your
Mhm.
truth
Absolutely.
about what you feeling, or maybe somebody in your family that you feel like they did something to you. You got to find that connection. But I know for me, when I'm having my moment, I just let it out. Like I just start cussing. I just say what comes to my mind, because I'm at a place that I need to release it. I need to let it go, get it. I got to release it, because if I don't, then I go into a place of depression. I start going to a place of I don't want to be around nobody. I want to be just by myself. And so I really do have great outlets. Now, one of the things I do use too is music. I love music. So music helps me as well to calm me. It brings me to a place of calm, relax. And I'm just gonna throw this out here. I use meditation as well too. So
No, that's fine.
that's just
No,
another
I
thing
got
I
a
do.
question though. Like, so these are, you're talking about moments, and I'm all for release, because if you don't, like you said, it builds. But we're talking about like your overall mental health, man, and making sure that things are good overall. Because who's to say that the moments aren't because something's wrong? So there's something
Yeah.
that's rooted. You know what I
Right,
mean? And so I want to answer
right.
that on a deeper level. Again, what do you guys feel about being proactive? Like maybe seeking a therapist just because I want to stay on top of my mental health the same way I do my financial and physical health. Olivia, what do you think about that?
Right.
I mean, even if you don't like think you need it, but like you said, just to stay on top of it, if you can't afford it, yes.
Right.
But I think that it would help, honestly, just to stay on top of it, just make sure that you're good. Like, yeah.
I would like to add, like, even when it comes to your mental health, like, I know we have to pay for it, with, whether you have insurance or not insurance, but I don't want people to feel like you're limited there because of the financial aspect of it. There's a lot of therapists out there that's willing to work with you financially. Like, my personal therapist, like, we got a good little good little deal working out, okay? And she'll just even, check in and be like, hey, I'll throw in a free session. Boom, night, come talk to me. So I think it's very important to do little check-ins. I feel like everybody knows when they feel a little off-centered mentally. So going off of that feeling and taking the initiative to either talk to someone, I feel like is very important. To kind of keep the ball rolling. So where if you are feeling depressed, take a step back and feel that emotion, but know when it's time to like move out of it, if that makes sense.
And I think that's where a lot of us need help when it's time to move out. We don't really know how to do that productively. Y'all know me, man. I really ain't a big social media fan, so I always wonder, how much do you guys think social media either helps or hurts, our ability to stay well? And the reason I ask on both sides again, for me, it's like constantly, I mean, it's just, you just pour out on social media, but how much does that actually help? Go ahead, Liz.
Okay. Social media, it is so two-faced. Like, you've got all these, like, it depends on what your platform on social media has. Like, if you have like a bunch of mental health stuff, that can help you, but if you also have like the toxic things like body image, people doing things that you want to do but you can't, it's can be toxic because you can compare yourself to them,
right?
And in that point your mental health can go downhill,
right?
So in that aspect, I feel like social media is more hurtful than it is helpful.
Right.
Going off of what Olivia said, I feel like it really depends on the person's mental state.
Absolutely.
I feel like personally, I feel like it doesn't do anything for me. Like social media, I go on there, I look at pictures. But then again,
Right?
my feed is mostly hair and makeup. Like, and it really depends on what that person's interests are. Like, what if they're gaming, like gaming interests? I don't see how that's going to negatively affect somebody.
Yeah, and so the way I asked the question was, again, I know how we'll get on social media and just release, just vent, just say whatever it is you want to say, and I wonder if some people will confuse that for productive therapy, and I'm gonna just call it that because that's the word we've been using. But sometimes we get up there and we'll not seek the help we need because we'll run to a Facebook, for example, and just post a 7-page status, you know what I mean, and feel like you've gotten something off your chest. You got a bunch of people that'll feed whatever energy you're putting out there, and all the while you haven't gotten any help.
People use it social media as an alternative.
Right, and that's what I'm afraid of.
And that's another form of ignoring your mental health, which is you should never do, because if you ignore your mental health, it's tricky because you feel like you're getting better, but you're really getting worse.
Yeah, right.
Especially when
because at that moment you're just releasing it on social media, but then at the end of the day, it's still there.
Yeah,
anything that's gonna help you progress and move through those emotions. So I feel like social media can definitely positively benefit you, like Olivia was saying with the post as far as like the supporting mental health, but again with the, like she was talking about, body shaming and comparing yourself to people that are really well off financially, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not there just yet, so I'm over here just like, okay, I'm just failing at life in general. So I feel like it could be either or, honestly.
I don't think putting your personal mental issues online or like on Facebook and social media I don't think that's really a smart thing to do, because then it becomes everybody's business. I know I don't want that to be everybody's business.
And you put something on the line, it's there forever.
It's there.
Yes.
And especially like if you're looking for that feedback, I don't think getting that from social media is helpful. I think you need something that's a little more personal and something more caring and compassionate, not
Yeah, from
a couple
personally.
letters on screen.
Right.
From a
I
couple of
personally
Someone you don't even know.
voices. Too many
I
voices.
feel like people do that out of just wanting attention and not
Yeah.
really knowing where to get it from. You know, it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna do this. Somebody gonna respond, and they gonna tell me I'm not tripping out, so
Right.
I'm good. Nothing's really wrong with me. You
Come
know.
on, Dad.
Personally, I
Drum Man was big old. You know, I just thought he made the whole show. You know,
This the snapback. That snapback is real. It's real. But what is a good age to have a baby?
You had a what? A what? You had the whole world, friend.
let's eat.
I forgot what they said, that's why I didn't say
Yeah.
Sure. I would always say this hurts me more than it's hurting you.
Any of y'all want a piece before I touch one? Nah, I'm good.
All right. Enjoy your pizza, KJ.
Welcome back. We appreciate you, man. But I want to get back to Daphne before we move on to Tila and Marquette. Daphne, you're about to chime in on the social media part of this.
personally with the father that I grew up, like he always would assure me, like first of all, I didn't even get a phone till like a proper phone until not junior year. Maybe like I was a freshman or a sophomore, but like so I didn't really deal with that whole middle school immature age of like everyone having their phones. But I don't really let it affect me, or like I don't go there to vent. But I definitely agree with Naya when she was saying that people will probably just post that because they'll be like, someone's gonna agree with me and I'm right. And then again, it comes back to that stubbornness, and then it's just wanting attention and all of that stuff. So
Tila, jump in.
So we're talking about mental health, and I know you were talking about social media, how it can be negative, it can be positive. And sometimes people feel like people say, just get it out, just get it out, just get it out. And sometimes they forget that other people have opinions on what you may say, and they're not for sure on what's going to come back to them. They're hoping it's going to be positive, but they forget that some people are out there that don't care anything about positivity. And it's good to get it out, but you need to get it out in a more positive way and make sure you have someone either in your corner, in your background, to feed off of when these negative personalities come out and start saying things that you weren't expecting to hear because you were looking for positivity or some type of support, that you have someone else in your corner, because social media is not the place to get it, even though that's the place they feel like that's a free platform, and that's maybe someone can help me. So maybe they're really out there, and those are the ones that's really desperate to find help on social media, looking for that person that would give me a free session or can guide me to the correct places, but they forget about that. So hopefully people will start learning that social media can be positive when people are reaching out in that platform. When it's something about mental health, they're looking for someone to support them. They're looking for the positivity. They need the help, and this is the way they're seeking it. So people just have to think about that before they start posting on their, their vent or whatever it may be.
I'll even confirm, what you said about the fact that they're looking for help and can find it. I'm one that have gotten several people to receive my services simply because they vented on Facebook. I had already advertised on Facebook, and just so y'all know, I was doing mine for free, but I was advertising my services. They vented on Facebook, and people would literally inbox me and say, look, such and such just posted something, and I'm all in people inbox like a little creep or a weirdo, like, man, what the world? And I always start, man, I hope this don't sound intrusive, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it is helpful when you can find what you're looking for. I just would hope we would be very careful about how much we disclose. Uncle Cat, jump in before we get out of here, man.
All right, so real quick, mental health. I just want to give you an example of like what I went through or what I experienced. I had a mentor one time by the name of Levante Lee. He's a good friend of mine, And it was during the time of my life where I lost a lot of people close to me, and I was really, out of it mentally, right? Just out of it. And we all know, we don't all know, but some of us know, we know how it feels, right? And I was expecting, keyword expecting, for a lot of people to come to my aid or come to like my side and like, yo, Cat, pat me on the back, give me hugs, this and the third, whatever, right? But I didn't get that. So I felt like, yo, I lost these people. Now I'm losing people with this, that, and the third, right? And he was saying to me, lower your expectations out of people, right? Like, even when it comes to social media and you going online and you want to vent and these things like that, don't expect people to do things. Lower your expectations, and so you can be surprised, so you can fill those gaps with your own thoughts and stuff like that. So that's what I do to kind of keep myself on a level playing field, right? Lower my expectations out of people, right?
And I respect that, man. But I'm one that's also like, not just lower your expectations, man, but express
To a
what you
certain extent,
feel, man. Because some people will give you distance because they think that's what you need. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so to say what you need to say, and that's something again that we as men probably won't do.
Yeah,
we'll go through what we go through. Wait, I'll accept it when it comes, but I won't say I need you. I need help. I'm bugging out right now. You know what I mean? And I think we got to give people, be a little more fair to our supporting cast, man, because I guarantee you, man, there's some people, and I went through something similar just to share, my closing remarks on this thing. I lost two very close cousins, my favorite aunt and my older brother, from the beginning of 2008 to the end of 2009. All tragic. Nobody older than the age of 38. Stomach cancer and 3 murders. You know what I mean? And so I was in a situation where I didn't even know I could get stressed. I'm the most level person I know. And I didn't realize it until I'm sitting here and can't sleep. I'm tired, but can't sleep. One of my homegirls at work, we had like people that give you the needles and check blood pressure and stuff. She was on staff and she would check me daily at this point in time because it was my blood pressure always high. And I didn't realize that I was going through something. I knew I lost them, but I didn't realize I was really harmed the way I was. You know what I mean? And the moment I cried and was able to talk to some people, I was a little better, man. So I think we got to do a better job of initiating, our own healing.
And that's something that he brought up too. Like, reason why he said lower your expectations is the way I needed to heal, right? Because I was expecting the most out of people. Not saying that nobody was going to give it to me, not saying that people didn't care about me, not saying that distance isn't a form of like showing that you care, but that's just something I needed, right? Because I was leaning on people too much. And you all know when you lean on something too much, it moves out the way, you fall, and now you're sitting there on the ground looking like, all right, what do I do now?
Relationships, man. Yeah.
For sure.
Sean, I think I heard you back there.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with Uncle right here. He said about leaning on people. I agree with that. I was at Uncle.
Oh, what did he say? What did he
say? Uncle. Call you Uncle because that's your name.
Come on, Dad.
I never jump in here. I let you guys talk and I just film and do all of that stuff. But it's such a topic that I enjoy talking about as a person who suffers from PTSD, clinical depression, insomnia, night terrors, and all those things. And all of you know me, and I'll give you the shirt off my back. One of the things that always annoys me is when we get into the toxicity of social media. And I'm always telling people, stop following people who are like that. Stop listening to people who are like that. You treat your social media like you treat your real life. If somebody's a jerk in real life, you distance yourself from them. So why are you paying attention to them on social media? If somebody cries out on social media, it can mean one or two things to me. One, they're doing it for attention because there's a bunch of people that are going to agree with them no matter if they're wrong. Or two, there's no one else out there that's listening to them. And that's their last ditch effort to help. They don't have the support of family members. They haven't picked really good friends, and they say all my friends are terrible and all of those things. So that's the way I look at it. I try to turn every negative that I see on social media and ask follow-up questions. Why is this particular person doing this on social media?
I go straight to him, man. I go straight to him. Look, I saw your post. This is what I do if you need some help. You know what I mean? Give them a chance. just in case you are serious. Go ahead, Dad.
So personally, I did not too long ago go through a point in my life where I like lost myself. I didn't know what was going on. Like mentally, I just wasn't okay. And I've never been like that. I'm a very, I won't say I try to be optimistic, but I just didn't know what to do. And then as far as just like a quick back on the social media, I remember there was this movement going on Twitter, and I waited a couple days just cuz like I didn't want to put my business out there, but I like did tweet something, and this one old friend of mine, Mark Portillo, he actually messaged me, and it really like hit home, and I really needed it, and like just his words were very encouraging. I'm very grateful. So I didn't put my business out there, but like he just, I guess the way he read it, like he knew what I was talking about. So I guess it can be helpful just because like also like I don't really feel like I have someone to talk to. Like I have my parents, but at the end of the day, they're just like in a different perspective. And then sometimes they try to give me a speech or this, and that. But I do have this one piece of advice that I love, that I like to remind myself that if you ever feel that you've hit rock bottom, the only way left to go is up. So just a friendly reminder.
Appreciate that, Dad.
Can I say something real quick?
Of course.
Real quick. All right. So if we all don't know this, one of the true forms of happiness comes from creating something, right? It comes through creation. So many of us, a lot of us, the majority of people, I feel like, don't have anything to do. You know what I mean? In a sense, right? So we stuck, get on social media and go into other people's business or whatever it might be, and that leaves us unhappy, right? I'm just saying, so we have to find something to do: paint, draw, sing, write, do anything to create, build something, right? Start a business, do whatever, right? Because the true form of happiness and true
Good time to do it too with that thing going on all around the world. It's been a good time to create. So if y'all still got time out there to create, come out of that funk. Naya, talk to it.
I feel like that's a really great piece of advice, but coming from a place where I wasn't well mentally and dealing with someone that wasn't well mentally, I think that's a hard piece of advice to really process, because if you're feeling low, you're not gonna feel like creating anything. So my final thoughts in relation to mental health is it's okay to not feel okay. You're not alone, even if you feel alone. There are resources out there. Talk to a friend. I understand you want to reach out to family, but sometimes family might not be the best option for you to reach out because they might not be able to understand exactly where you're coming from. And again, that is okay. Don't really focus so much on the financial aspect. Share where you are financially with someone that can provide the services that you need in relation to supporting you mentally, and maybe you can work out a payment plan or do a free consultation like, hey, look, I am having the worst day of my life and I need to talk to someone. This is like my last straw. But all I can say is if you feel, or if you come to a space where you feel uneasy or uncertain about your mental stability, that's the point where you need to go ahead and check in and talk to someone. But sending love and light to anybody that's going through anything, because like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but mental health is a really important factor because I said, I know what it feels like to be low, and I just want everybody to thrive in general.
Final thoughts, Liv.
I pretty much said it. Yeah.
You can count on my girl to be brief. She said it, and that's it.
Y'all better have listened the first time.
Right. Don't miss it when she speak, because that's it. Kayla, your thoughts.
Me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
My final thoughts are to confide in someone or in something that you trust and that you feel like you're going to get help from. Do something that you feel like is going to better yourself. And honestly, a good rule of thumb that I go by is that it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to do things for you, because at the end of the day, it's you.
It's a difference between being selfish and doing for self. But yeah, you're totally right. Do for self. Do for self.
Hey, Sean.
My final thoughts are, When it comes to social media, I just agree with everybody that when you have a issue or problem, just please do not put it on social media because it's not cool. It's really not. And I just feel like try to find somebody. Like I agree with the young lady right here. Find somebody that you can put your trust in to talk to. Don't put it out there. And stop like Olivia said, stop comparing yourself. When you don't follow those people on social media, don't be doing that. Like find positive stuff, things that will build you, not bring you down or lower into that mental state. But when it comes to social media, please, don't put that stuff on there. Because sometimes, like I know somebody personally now that I'm dealing with that puts stuff on social media, and sometimes they'll just be talking about F my family, this and that. I'm like, do you think you should be putting that on social media right now? Like, should you be saying that about your family? Like, that's just too much info. That's just too much information, man. Like, so yeah, that's my final thoughts about that.
My thoughts on this thing is just do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. I hear a lot of people say it's okay to not be okay, but I'm always like, go that step further. Okay, we acknowledge that we ain't okay. Now let's get okay. I'm pretty confident.
Right.
We want to go through life not okay. Any of us that are up here trying to share this information, let's make sure that the people that hear us are comfortable seeking those things out. Let's make sure we're reassuring and letting people know that they're not crazy. I think a majority of us have expressed something about a time that we personally have gone through, man. It's not unusual to be in a place of poor or fading or not optimal mental health. I'll put it that way. You're not at your optimal level of mental health, right? And so it's okay to get to that place, however it is you got to get there, man. So we want to make it okay for everybody to get what they need. We're not bashing anybody. I don't care how you do it. If you make the mistake, quote unquote, and put something on social media, well, your mistake might lead you back to somebody like me who can help you. And so it's just a way of going about things. Just make sure you're doing it with the goal of getting better. That's all I ask personally. See, I ain't leave you out, did I, baby?
Absolutely. My final thoughts on that is you have to remember when people are shooting that negativity at you, hurt people. And a lot of times what you give out, you attract what you're trying to get rid of. So when it comes to social media, you really have to be very cognizant on what it is that you're putting out there, even in real life, because you attract some of the negative things that you're trying to get rid of, because that's just how kinetic energy works. So when you are talking to other people about what you need, sometimes, like someone said, family is not the way to go, because family is going to remember every negative aspect of the conversation. And then when you're feeling better, you're on a better path, you're on a better level, they're going to still go back and try to pull you back to, oh, remember when you did this? Remember when you did that? You talked about this. You're trying to get over that. You're trying to not go back to that. So you have to really pay attention. Sometimes the people who are not in your lives every single day, but they're there when you need them, those are the ones you need to talk to. Sometimes the people who are not as close to you are the ones that's going to give you the best advice and be that support system that you need. So sometimes, because I don't want you to know who I am, what I'm going through, because you're going to talk about it later, we all go through that. So you have to find that system that's going to work for you and make sure that's the right system, because we're all going to have that negative aspect of things and it's going to eat us from the inside out. So just know we're all rooting for you. And when you need it, find it. Someone is out there for you.
Yes. One last thing. If anybody needs a therapist, I know a lady. She does virtual sessions. And you
can't come up there and advertise nobody else.